All right. Join us in the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. So our first order of business for the evening is to review and approve the meeting, select board meeting minutes of August 6th.
Move to approve this.
I'll second that, seeing I've reviewed them and concur with them.
All right, if there's no other discussion, all those in favor? None opposed, the minutes are approved. All right, so our next item, we have some budget committee appointments to make here for the upcoming budget season that starts later in the year. And we've received a number of applications of people interested. We have two gentlemen here this evening. We asked them to come. We gladly received their applications and just well, with the board as a whole, hadn't met you before. We wanted you to come in and just have a quick chat and what brings you to the table and your interest in the budget committee. So you're John Summer and Robert Cyphers.
Right.
All right, well, you don't have to come up to the table if you don't want. I guess John, if you want to just give us an idea, introduce yourself and.
Yeah, I moved out here full time 2 years ago. We've had property here since 2020. So my goal is just so I want to get more involved in the community. I love numbers. I was in the past, I was relocated from the Portland area, so I spent 8 years on the downtown Portland Corporation. I was treasurer for 3 of them and then president for the last 2. For the downtown Portland Corporation was the economic development engine for the city of Portland. And so there's a revolving loan fund that they loaned out. And so just that I enjoyed the numbers aspect. I enjoyed it was a way for me to give back to the community and utilize my skills and sort of help out that way.
All right.
I know nothing, again, to be perfectly transparent. My goal will be trying to learn. I don't know much about how the budget committee would work with the select board. So I'll be looking to learn from the members on the board. I would sort of see that as just try to understand. I think part of it, what I would understand the role to be would be probably taking some direction from the select board and saying, okay, we want to have zero growth in the budget this year, and so how we can go back and do it. I see the budget committee is going into more detail and trying to understand some of the variances that happen.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, so just so you know, our budget committee is an advisory committee. The various boards, the school board, the fire department, parks, select put budgets together. And the budget committee reviews it and basically gives a recommendation essential to the voters of the town. So that's kind of how our budget committee works, but yeah, it's a great place to get started if you're interested in municipal government. It's a good way to understand, because you get exposed to all of the school board, select board, those types of things. So yeah, well, thank you. Do you have any questions?
I do, just one. Do you have anything that's a personal drive for you, or other words, interests you more than anything else, or just pretty much everything overall?
What do you mean by that? In terms of what I like to do?
A personal drive, I mean, something that you want to focus on more than anything else. So I guess the personal drive is the best idea.
No, I think, there's a couple things I've always sort of been interested in. I mean, I think you look at it, the big thing is you read in the paper about all the taxes going up in some of these towns. So
Right.
why is that? I mean, obviously, a big driver is the health insurance and also the cost of employees. Aside from that, how do you manage that? And you see these towns, Waldeboro taxes going up 10, 15%. And so how do they do that? I think try to understand some of the reasons behind that. I don't think it's because of the reckless spending. I think there's some inherent causes, and so maybe you could get the state to play a bigger role.
Okay,
I mean, it's the state picked up health insurance for the towns, maybe that's it saves some cost stuff, you know?
okay, thank you.
All right, thanks. All right, so. Robert, how about you? You just, like I say, just give us a rundown on your interests and why you'd like to serve and.
All right, well, I moved up here probably 2.5, 2 years ago from Augusta.
Mhm.
I really like it up here. It's nice, quiet, way different than Augusta.
Yeah.
And I've just been to the last 2 or 3 town meetings, and I never went to any town meetings before here.
Mhm.
And coming here and seeing how everything gets voted on and stuff like that in the meetings, how they run, and I just want to give back to the community. I'm a firefighter in town too.
Yeah.
So I really just, I want to give a little bit more, if possible. I like numbers too. I'm an IT guy. I work for Maine Health in Minnesota.
Yeah.
So, I like numbers. Don't have any formal education with numbers or anything. Don't have any real experience with local government or any government.
Yeah.
Other than what I read and, attend town meetings and so. But I just, like I said, I just want to give back.
Okay.
And do you have any, same question as I gave you, anything that's a personal interest to you? Or you want to focus on more than anything else or change or?
I echo what he said, is the taxes
Yeah.
going up everywhere. Like to see if there's a way that we can try to keep them in check.
Mhm.
Have as little or no increase as possible with keeping the same amount of services.
Mhm.
That's
Okay, yeah, just-
that's pretty much it.
Yep. All right,
thank you.
thank you very much. Any follow questions?
I have no more.
Thank you very much for coming and, like I say, we just, we're glad to have, I mean, we have more applicants and we have places to appoint people, which is always a good thing for these, town committees, so we will review all of the applicants and, we'll find out, and that, like I say, there'll always be room somewhere in the future, if not this year or another year for. If you are interested, we will, and always keep an eye out, and there may be another committee, or we may, come up that needs help, so. But again, we'll review all the applicants and you'll know soon who we decide to appoint, so.
Great, thank you
All
very
right,
much.
thank you.
Thank you.
very much. All right.
Thank you.
All right, next up, we got, talk about our snowplow contract here, just go over the details and. So you just, new three, coming up on a new 3-year contract. And, that went out to bid earlier this year. And, Silver Enterprise office, we didn't know we're gonna continue to be our snowplow contractor for the next 3 years.
I owe Rachel a public apology because I sent her an email, I think at 4:58 this afternoon. You did answer me. And she had gotten me out stuff and I was delayed in getting back. So again, I deeply apologize for giving her little to absolutely no time. In general, from our standpoint, there's nothing, we don't have anything. I just had a couple of questions or point of clarification more than anything else. I wasn't sure that under the services, first paragraph in, it very clearly specifies the, first, second and third year for the term. And I didn't know, there's nowhere else in the document that it says anything about the extension.
Yeah.
talks about it under price and payment.
That's the only other place. So I wasn't sure if there was a line that you just wanted to say upon mutually agreeable terms or pricing.
Yeah.
That there's an option for 2 years to be put, so everybody just understood what the time frame was on the top. That was just one quick observation that I had. The only other one is item number 9, just seems to be a duplication under section C. Because we already say that pretty cleanly in item 4.
Yeah, I agree with you, other than maybe add the words guardrails.
Sure.
Guard posts and signposts to number 4, just to.
Yep.
To clarify that it's all those things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you all do you that?
I'm fine with that.
Mhm.
That was it.
What do you think about the 2-year extension? Maureen?
I think I mean, it would help if it was clarified, you know.
So I'll clarify it on the first paragraph.
Yeah, I think that is, you agree on that?
Say again now.
On the option for a 2-year extension, it's in here, but it's kind of not tied to the contract dates and when that 2-year extension is.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
That would, yeah, have it identified there specifically when that 2-year extension period.
And it doesn't have to be committal language, it can just be, like mutually accepted, based on performance and agreed upon price at such time. It just frames the overall potential contract length and puts it in one spot, that's all.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'll just add a sentence to the first paragraph.
yeah,
Okay. It's fine.
sounds good to me.
Other than that, I didn't have any other thing to talk about. I figured we'd have a discussion basically on what we're gonna do with the salt thing.
Yeah, I just wanted to point out that I changed the percentages on the contract. I mean, they were like 14.99
It
and
does-
12.57, so I changed them all to 10, 15, and 20.
Yeah.
That doesn't, cause you guys actually operate isn't it, January 1 to January 1, not July to July, right? So I gotta be very honest and upfront with you, it really doesn't matter, that's for you to work out with the girls in the office, and if it has to change based on cash flow for the town, whatever it is, it doesn't matter.
Well, if your ladies need the numbers changed, just have them
Yeah.
email me.
There's no, it doesn't,
Okay.
it is what
I
it is.
kind of did it, well, I kind of did it on what was it. Kind of like too much snowfall.
Right. No, it makes sense, your logic is sound because you get the 3 heaviest months for there, so it's just, I just know that some towns, municipality wise. Over their budget cycles, when taxes are due, they don't wanna do TANs or they don't wanna do anything else, so if it works out better one way or another, just let them know, I don't care.
okay.
All right, sounds good.
In reference to the salt, I know you guys have gone out and I believe you've committed to 1,000 ton of salt at 7503, is that correct?
Yeah, but we only have to buy 750.
Yep, 75% of it.
Yeah,
Again,
so how does that work?
I mean, clearly. So let me start off by saying that in no way, shape or form, I mean, we're here to work with you, we'll figure out a solution. That's. My price to buy that material is significantly lower than what you guys are priced at.
Okay.
Obviously it wasn't in the bid when it was to take into account for 1,000 tons, so.
Yeah.
I think the numbers speak for themselves. I was pretty clear. I wanted to work down here. I wanted to keep it here
Yeah.
and I wanted to stay. So, I mean, for me, I'm looking at about another $6.50. So $6,500 would be the hit if I had to take that and buy that. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, I think.
we'll work it out.
Yeah.
We'll have something. I just don't. I'm open to ideas, suggestions.
Okay.
We'll
So
figure it out.
it's like a $6.50 difference between your price and our price, okay,
Correct, 100%.
and you'll go pick it up, right?
And we go pick it, exactly. That's why I do it, because we can control the delivery. I know the state has their specifications on the delivery time, stuff like that. I've never seen it actually come true 100%, especially if we have a normal winter when it's busy. They say that they're guaranteed to have it within so many days, and I call bullshit,
Yeah.
quite frankly, because it
You're
never,
on the phone- you're on the-
it never comes through. It never comes through. We order salt and never get it.
What salt do we normally use in?
Oh, it's a great question. I mean, it really depends, but 1,000 to 1,500, I would think.
Over?
Yeah.
Because I only ordered 300, and they're like, nope, the last time they ordered like 3,000.
No, I mean, we use it a lot. Obviously, your two main corridors being 32 and 130 take up a large percentage of it. Um, it's really weather dependent. If it's driven a lot by temperature. The colder that we have for the weather, the more material we go through, 100%. If we have a little bit milder, wetter season, then we go through a lot less than we do if it's in the high teens to low 20s. We can change the amount of roads that we do, but all the major commute roads, we hit at least twice through the snow events, we hit twice. Usually once before we anticipate either school starting and once right around commute time in the afternoon. Um, if the timing works out, that happens to be about the ending of the storm, usually we hit them again at the end, but we try to coincide either first thing in the morning or again, if it ends at like 10, right around the commute time when people come home, we try to time it. But 1,000, 1,500 ton is definitely not out of question on a typical year for sure.
Right.
Now, that's just straight salt. That's not what we mix with the sand.
Right,
Any other questions?
I don't.
All right. I think,
I'm gonna have questions, I'm sorry.
more
Well,
questions.
I just wanted, what is the best procedure when we get phone calls about mailboxes or? I mean, some of them are easy, like, oh, we need more sand. Lots of times I'll just call Sean, depending on what she needs, but really the big one is the mailboxes, I think.
Yep.
So I think I'm just gonna get a form, because I don't ever answer the phone, it's all these other people that do. So if I give them a form.
Yep. So in the past,
Should we forward it to your office, or would you
Yeah.
prefer that we give out your number?
I mean, I don't personally hide from any complaints about mailboxes. In the past, though, what we've had is we've had a documentation process that people had to follow only because if people want to take the time to fill out a complaint, then it weeds out the illegitimate ones from the legitimate ones most of the time. So, and then usually we've had that either faxed or emailed. It doesn't have to be faxed, but and then I always try to respond to the people that call about them and at least reply to them. That doesn't guarantee that we're always gonna fix them. We have an internal policy, company policy on mailboxes is pretty simple. If our trucks are involved in a motor vehicle accident or leave the road as a result of an accident type material and we hit or do damage, without question, we fix it and take care of it. If damage to a mailbox happens during normal snow operations, like we're just piling the road or what happens, we do not replace mailboxes because we follow state law, because state law specifically exempts mailbox from being placed because they're in the right of way and they are the responsibility of the homeowner to take care of while they're in a public right of way.
Yeah.
The other reason that we don't do it is because the varying degree of maintenance that people put into their mailboxes is enormous. So, I mean, I understand there's something. If I have a situation, I do pick and choose on some case by case, because if there's a situation where we hit it, I say no, that we're not gonna do it, and then we hit it again and again, then obviously there's something wrong, and we have been known to go out and fix them if it's a driver issue. The biggest thing that I ask residents to do, though, is prove to me that they put them into some degree of standard. Because without having that, a little bit of a baseline, it's very hard to make an emotional decision on something as opposed to a policy-driven decision. So if they can show me that they're 42 inches off the ground, they've got a good sturdy post, that they're well marked and off the side, and we still continue to hit it, we'll own it. And
We have the DOT requirements, anything that to give the people here so they know.
And here's the complicating thing. US Postal Service and DOT are in conflict with each other. So what we,
gave the DOT.
yeah, what we get is, oh, I reached out to the Postal Service and the Postal Service is XYZ. And then you read the DOT ones and the DOT ones are different. Postal Service has to take in the entire country. Maine DOT is built around what we have here for equipment and space.
What about if you have a furrow? Does it depend on how deep it is, whether you come fixing it up?
So common misnomer, I mean, obviously I know what you're referring to, but common
Yeah.
misnomer is that the wings and stuff on those are not hydraulically driven. It's all based on weight. So
Yeah.
I can't put down pressure on it. If the
Right.
ground is soft and the plow digs in, it digs in. Clearly damage, we base damage on a case by case scenario. I think it's been very prudent in the past that if there's something that we have legitimately hit, we have gone back and tried to fix.
Right,
But on the flip side, everybody in the public has to be aware that if we went to everybody's dooryard and fixed every little thing, I'd have a full-time crew going all summer long. Just
I know the scenario, but I'm not being picky or nothing, I'm just bringing this out because
I
there
know.
happened to be just one place on the whole road, and it was more than I could handle.
How come I hit my own mailbox, Bob?
I'm not talking about a mailbox, I'm talking about a furrow.
The
Yeah,
ground,
a furrow that I couldn't fix unless I had a plow.
if the ground is soft and it cuts in, it cuts in. I mean, we're not doing it
Yeah.
intentionally. We're doing it just to try to get the snow off, so those are case by case, and, you know, again, all I can prove is that our history speaks for itself. We came down and we fixed it,
I know you did.
and we stood up for
I know
it, so.
Yeah. Okay, don't take it personal.
No, no,
I'm just throwing it out because it goes other directions. I mean, you know.
trust me, my friend, it'd have to be a lot more than that to go too personal, because we've hit a lot of stuff.
All right.
It happens, it's the
Case
nature of the
closed.
business.
Yeah. Well,
So to answer your question, I would say either I can share with you a common form, a generic form that we have. It's just a complaint form. It takes their name and on a contact means. And we save them. In the office, I save every complaint, and I usually write notes on the bottom so I can track, so that I can see if I've got a history with one person or one address, or if there's, you know, that type of thing.
Yeah.
Um,
So, one second.
Then just email it, and you can email it direct to me, or you can fax it into the office. The staff will either send me my direct, and obviously you have my personal cell phone, so if it's a dire need, just call me direct and we'll take care of it.
all right.
All right. Very good.
Thank you for your time and patience.
Oh, no, I totally get it. Are we okay to start putting sand in the shed?
Yeah.
All the
Yeah,
repairs are
the
done?
electrical was fixed. I think Sean's gonna try to get some sheet metal to do some.
Do you need us to hold off for a little bit then?
No, because it would be all done from the outside.
Okay,
Yeah, if he can find, he would having a hard time trying to find the actual sheet metal pattern of that shed. If you have any contacts,
yep, no
let
problem.
us know about that.
I have two things to let the board know about this in particular. One, if I have some extra mix, we made a loading ramp down there on the left side of the building. It's just leftover mix, it's nothing great, but if I have some more, I'd like to smooth that out. This is no cost, this isn't, but
Yeah.
makes life easier for us.
Sure.
To have that so that we can pave in and around that side.
Yeah,
We removed our fuel tank. We had that permanently wired in for the previous contractor. I didn't know what the results were gonna be,
Right.
but I'd like to put that back. It just has our off-road fuel in it.
yeah,
And we just have it wired into the outlet that's right there.
Yeah.
To have that there.
okay.
And the last item is that I'd like to be able to start hauling some salt in so that I can mix with sand, if it's okay, in that corner.
Yeah.
To be able to start moving some of that stuff in, so I don't want to be in anybody's way. Those piles might be in the middle until I get them pushed over, you know, they'll be in the building, but they might be in the middle, but.
Anything that they might do with the building is gonna be outside, so that should be good to go.
All right.
I'll get insurance copies over to you and a letter of credit.
Thank
Thank you
you.
very much.
Thanks, you guys.
All right. Next up, tennis courts.
Was just a small. Mary Ann sent me a list of proposed rules,
Okay,
that she wanted you all to have, because she'll be at the meeting next week up at tennis courts. She's gonna join in.
okay,
I haven't heard back from the Dunbars, although I do have an appointment with their lawyer tomorrow at 3 to talk to them. So that's it, really, for just passing this over.
all right. Very good. Just a quick update there. So school board report.
Okay. Well, thank you. Martha, we'll do the renovation.
Hi.
Boy, all the talk about the salt and stuff,
Yeah,
makes it feel like winter.
yeah, I know, I know.
Felt like them for this morning.
Yeah.
Uh,
So we're gonna give you an update on the renovation, and then we're also gonna give you an update on the ESC discussion, the reorganization. So I'll, if you don't mind, June, I'll start with the renovation. What's that?
Please plunge it.
Yeah. So we've got our most recent update at our last school board meeting, and then I spoke with Peter on Tuesday. And things are tying up here. Optimum is out of the picture now. They decided not to complete their contract, and so JF Scott is on site now, finishing their job, and Optimum's paying for it. Let's see, the electrical is supposed to be, the interior work is pretty much done. The electrical is supposed to get a sign off on Wednesday, I believe. There's some exterior work still being done. I think above the main entryway, the shingles getting stripped and that's getting resided. Hanley's repaved the road from 130 down to and did the basketball court, and they straightened up all the basketball hoops, and they did that as a donation. So that was like $10,000 worth of material and labor.
Very
It
generous.
was super generous. Yeah. Our representative Dovetail is no longer coming to the site. But they're finished there, but they are doing payments and invoicing and that type of work still. But basically John Carroll and Peter and Jennifer Rivera are all kind of making sure all that work is getting done. All the FF&E stuff has been delivered. What else?
What's that in?
The furniture. Yeah. Furnished, yeah, I can't remember what it's furnishings.
Chair,
It's
fixtures,
just an equipment,
equipment,
something like that, yeah.
so many items.
Jargon.
Yeah.
Yeah, right now there's a subcommittee discussing a ribbon cutting ceremony. They met yesterday, so I haven't heard what they've decided just yet, or what they're gonna recommend as a date to do the ribbon cutting. They're trying to work around, like the pre-K folks have a meeting, and then the lower grades have a meeting, so they're trying to do something in between those two that we can have people from the community come and get tours and things like that. So
Yeah, that'd be nice.
yeah, absolutely. We're excited to show the building off. The board is very pleased with the job that Optimum, or excuse me, I'm not Optimum, the job that Dovetail
Yeah.
has done, and the job that our administrators have done to get things, finished. I think there's been, I know Dovetail I've been a part of several meetings which Dovetail has really gone after Optimum. So that decision was
Really good.
very, yeah, really good to make. And so they're still working hard for us. Other than that, I think that's it. Did I miss anything?
That covered it.
Questions? Any questions?
Did the fire marshal?
I mean, the fire marshal has been down a couple times. You mean like a sign,
Scott's question.
like,
Did the fire marshal sign off on it yet?
that I don't know. I want to say he did. I mean, I think that I got that the last meeting, because that wasn't in the most recent update that I got, so. Oh,
All right. Any questions about the renovation at this point?
okay, if not, then we'll get into our,
Plunge in. And are there other items on the agenda after this?
yeah.
Okay, so
Oh,
I'm mindful of your time,
yeah.
so, and I can you know, make it shorter or longer depending on your needs. So
No.
what, 15 minutes, is that good?
Yeah, that's fun.
And I don't know who has seen the presentation and who hasn't. So if any of you have actually seen it, forgive me if you're bored to tears. But I did update what you have in front of you, just in terms of correcting tiny little typos and clarifying the language. And putting a new date at the top. So what you see in front of you is as of today. So. Do you wanna, we're gonna like switch that.
Yeah, so this is, so as you can see, it's the proposed reorganization would be the Johns Bay ESC, or Educational Service Committee.
Center.
Thank you. With a brief history, we've been talking about this since 2023. Maybe, yeah. John Woodsum was retained in order to explore options. They visited with South Bristol, they visited with us, and recently we formed a reorganization committee that has been meeting since May 2024 to discuss certain options, South Bristol having more options that they were looking at. And recently, after the GSB decision to leave, Bristol and South Bristol have been looking at that question in earnest, to see what it would be, what it would look like to reorganize. Move for town AOS created cost. Oh, yeah. As a lot of this reorganization has to do with the fact that the AOS structure is outdated, not supported by the state, and with GSB out of there now, the voting structure is different, and so Bristol has less of a voice.
So yeah, basically for anybody who doesn't know, when the AOS member schools may take votes on various things,
June is our AOS
yeah,
representative, so that's why she's here.
I'm here. I'm not part of the working committee, but since I wear two hats on the school committee, this is why I'm here. But so the votes are weighted depending upon how many kids go to the school. It's as simple as that. So, you know, if there are 100 kids at the school, that will give you a certain amount of weight. If there are 200, that gives you twice as much weight. And with the departure of Great Salt Bay, this effectively meant that even when Bristol's votes and South Bristol's votes were combined, if the two other member schools were not in agreement, we always lost.
So basically, it's driven by head count.
It's driven by
That's
account.
simple as that,
Simple
correct?
as that.
Simple as that. Okay,
And, you know, down to like a really
Yeah.
itty bitty percentage point.
Yeah.
And, so, you know, I don't like to couch it in terms of winning and losing,
Right,
but every
right.
time the vote was taken, we would lose.
Okay.
And Great Salt Bay had, because it's a conglomeration of three different schools,
Yeah.
or three different communities, they represented a lot of votes, because they got a lot of kids.
Yeah.
So that's one of the main reasons behind the decision to move forward with some form of restructuring. And so why seek change? We just went over that. Let's see. By the way, any acronyms here? If I haven't lost them, just let me know. I try to catch them all. There's one thing I would like to add on the why seek change page, the last item, the last bullet point. Different schools have different needs. And one of the member schools was experiencing greater and greater needs in the special education area. which meant that special ed, which is centered in the AOS, had to devote a very large amount of time to that one school and lesser time to the other schools, and that was also problematic.
I'd add one more thing on the YC change page as well. Bristol and South Bristol has been increasing their involvement in working together, collaborating with regards to academic issues and as well as sports and extracurricular things. And so it's not all just driven by,
No,
we're scared of what's going to happen,
Right.
at the AOS level.
right.
It's working out well, and people are excited about that. And having been to the last restructuring committee, that was palpable, which is why they voted that restructuring committee they were all in agreement basically that they would bring this to the school boards, that, the ESC they felt was the best option at this time. Which moves on us to what are the options? So that we had the options of a standalone school district, which is too expensive and not a realistic option. Private school, South Bristol is looking at that. It requires investors, also expensive, and then a two-town RSU, which requires transfer of control of the school building and other assets from the town, which South Bristol was not a fan of. So
Right, because there would be a loss of local.
yeah,
control, which
exactly.
Totally understand.
Yes.
Um,
The ESC is, as we've mentioned, is supported by the state. It allows us to share our resources and services currently provided by the OS. We each maintain a school committee, so there is that local control is still in place. The votes there's equal voting, if I remember correctly.
yes,
What else? And then during our ESC discussions, we've voted as a school board, we voted to enter the ESC process. At some point, the two school boards will get together and we'll create a new agreement with regards to the cost sharing.
arrangements.
At the ESC level.
And unfortunately, it seems that the Department of Education, they don't have rolling applications, if you will.
Right.
It's once a year.
Yeah.
And the deadline is fixed, and if you miss that deadline, you cannot do anything else until a year after that. So,
Yeah, like I said, we voted unanimously, and then pursuing the formation of the two-town ESC with all due speed in order to meet
The
the
deadline.
deadlines, which is in the end, I think it's July.
there are two.
What's that?
There are two sorts of deadlines.
Right,
There's like the
right, there's
initial
there's a budgetary,
expression of interest, which is coming up.
yes,
And then from what I have not seen that part of the application, but from what I understand, it's very simple, very straightforward. The subsequent application is more involved.
Can we afford it, when modeled in comparison to the upcoming FY 27 AOS budget? It appears that there would be some savings in each town. If you hadn't known, the AOS board has been talking about moving the contributions of the individual schools closer to 25% of each member, which I believe would hit us not as hard.
Not as hard,
but-
we have more
Right,
kids.
right.
It would hit
South Bristol would,
Bristol very hard.
yeah, they would be up 15%,
Or more.
something like that. The state makes a financial contribution to the ESCs, it says approximately 100,000 in this model. And I believe that's a part of the administrator's salary, and then there are people money, right?
And the reason they do this is that, I think the Maine Department of Education has found the AOS system to be kind of clumsy and, not very nimble, and the financial contributions, the ESCs, which I think is made based on the number of students at a particular school. They have a formula, and so it's a carrot, it's not a stick.
And
Yeah, I've spoken to collaboration. Okay, here's the draft budget.
So please keep in mind, this is only a draft.
Yes.
And so it's a work in progress, but these are basic numbers.
And this draft it's it does say Pemaquid ESC. At some point, we were calling it Pemaquid ESC, but then
That's,
the said suggestion was Johns Bay, so I think we're sticking with that.
yes, that's missing. So I'd like to draw your attention in particular to the written statement at the bottom. Because if you just, if you just look at the numbers, you go, oh my God. But because of savings that will happen under the ESC model, the school would have be either break even or ahead of the game.
What would the ESC offer? Superintendent services, financial administration, special ed administration, facilities administration, transportation administration, nutrition administration, adult education coordination with the central Lincoln County adult ed, which will still be housed at, I guess,
I think Great Salt Bay.
Right.
It's I'm not
And
quite
then
sure
our-
why, but
and then our secondary
education.
education, yeah. What positions might the ESC include?
So there would be an executive director. And the board would hire the person, and that person would have to report to that board. There'd be a combined superintendent and curriculum director hired by the ESC executive director and board. And that person would be contracted to and reporting to local school committees and the ESC board. There would be a part-time special ed director. As you all probably know, with every passing year, the number of students requiring special ed services is rising, and not just in this town, but in all over the country. So that is a necessary position, and a finance clerk, an executive assistant, and then the rest of the necessary services would be contracted.
Essentially, the school would employ essentially the same positions that they do now. Potential for future efficiencies between the two schools include future integration of IT, future sharing of facilities management, using small school administrative assistants more effectively, keep business office smaller, and a potential for transportation efficiencies. Yeah, it might seem like it's akin to the AOS, but the way it was explained to me is my understanding is we're they're the general contractor for all our services. And they can be a fiscal agent, whereas the AOS couldn't be a fiscal agent. So in order, if we needed services or if we all needed services, all the schools in the AOS needed services, one school would have to get billed, and then we would pay this one school, and it was
Very
very
complicated.
complex, yeah. So this way, because the ESC can be a fiscal agent,
It's
gonna
simplified.
tidy up all of that as well. We have space at Bristol, which is helpful, so we did a renovation. And we can use the existing phone system and internet, and their rental agreement could be created with regards to the ESC.
So the nitty gritty of actually going through the process is, doing the first part of the application, which is, as I described, very straightforward. And the part two of the application, which is the more involved one, is due by the end of October. An interlocal agreement would be drafted and signed by the end of October. A withdrawal plan, would be created in parallel to the interlocal agreement, and interlocal means between the two schools, basically. There would be a transition plan to ensure that things go smoothly. That would come in late fall before budgeting is done. And an ESC budget would be developed and approved by January and then worked into town budgets. Operations of the ESC would start in parallel to the AOS, again, for smooth transitions, in the fourth quarter of fiscal year 26.
Who will do all this work? So we need this executive director, we need a superintendent. Oh, this is for the ESC team. Yeah. My understanding is that we have, for many of these positions, we have people that have the talent and the skills and the credibility to do this work on hand. And it seemed, and in order to get this process done by the timeline, it seems like we need to put them into those roles and those positions in order to make sure that we get the deadline. Oh yeah, we have the talent in-house. We have this ESC team, which will include the ED, the superintendent, 2 board members, and then the main DOE will have to see a plan before they approve the separation from the AOS.
So going on to what's next, the BCS board votes on submitting the part 1 of the application, which has taken place.
Yeah.
That took place at the last meeting. And then on August 21st, tomorrow, the restructuring committee meets. To be clear, I am not part of the restructuring committee. It is a working group. It consists of Darren and Emil Lugosh. And the reason I'm here today and not him is because I wear an AOS hat too. So I was called on to come. So among the various issues that will be taken up at when the restructuring committee meets are determining what the staffing model will look like, what an associated budget for the ESC would look like, what type of cost sharing formula there would be, what the structure of the ESC board would be, identify an ESC team, create an interlocal agreement, and then after that, this bullet should probably have been a separate bullet, but it shouldn't go under August 21st because that's not happening tomorrow.
Yeah.
But the school committees of both schools will review and approve all of the above items at their next meetings. And then the ESC team will draft the applications, the transition and withdrawal plans. The school committees and the AOS board will review those and agree on all of the terms above over the coming 8 to 10 weeks. And then the school committees formally vote to approve and submit the application.
So if we delay, there won't be a change possible until FY 28, which would be July 1st of 2027. We'll continue with the AOS 93 relationship challenges. There will most likely be increased costs in the AS 93 FY 27 budget. And then, loss of momentum, declining morale, risk of losing current team and talent. That's. If you want to dwell on that stuff. Yeah.
And thank you.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, but like I said before, those are weighing, especially with the board, the negative stuff is certainly a reason to go towards this ESC, but I really think that the energy or the like-mindedness of the two schools is what's inspiring the move toward this.
All right. So
So who was on the restructuring committee, the reorganization committee?
So two
How
members
is that
from,
made up of?
Yeah, okay, so it's two school members from each town,
Mhm.
two faculty members from each school, two members of the community from each community, and then there's also it seems like, and then the principals are there as well, I believe. So I can tell you the people from the Bristol side. Becky Cooper was on the restructuring committee. She's asked me to step in just because she's got lots going on. So it's me and Emil, and then Christina Bradbury, Sarah Kennedy. I guess it's just Jennifer's would be the other staff person. And then who was the other?
the new principal of South Bristol.
Yeah, Lori Stiles is on there.
Right.
But I was trying to remember the other Bristol.
The board, the Bristol people.
Yeah, the Bristol, I've only been to one meeting, so I apologize. I can't remember.
But if you would like to know
Yeah.
the names, we're happy to send
And
them along.
not necessarily names, I was more interested in positions. and
Like
the number
representation?
of people on.
Yeah.
the
It's it's like 12 people. It's pretty
Yeah.
large. And so they started meeting last year.
Right,
And just because of the size of the
it's
committee,
very unwieldy.
right? And so then at some point, because nothing was happening, also they wanted to see what was happening with GSB. They stopped meeting,
Mhm.
and then with what was happening at the AOS level, because Christian Coates, who's on the South Bristol
Right.
board, and
And he is the current chair of the AOS board.
yeah. So he brought his concerns about the AOS at the AOS level and to the last meeting, and then everyone got to talking, and that's why we're here.
It seems to me that the formation of an ESC,
Mhm.
and I don't know how complete it is in statute because I've only looked at statute minimally about this. But it seems like it's designed to circumvent the legislative body. And although I'm not necessarily opposed to an ESC,
Mhm.
I don't understand that component. Where's town meeting? When do the people get to vote on whether or not this happens?
Mhm.
And maybe statute is silent on that, I don't know. Having considered that the legislative body of the county is not involved or doesn't, when do they become involved in this process?
There are members of the school board on the ESC committee. And then,
No, I'm talking about voting. on
Right.
whether or not this happens.
I'm sorry. So, right. So the vote on, right. Yeah.
Because even interlocal
right.
agreements in our experience
Mhm.
on the municipal side. Interlocal agreements were always voted on by the legislative body. And
Right.
that doesn't seem to be happening in this case. And I want to understand that better.
Right.
I did just a little bit of research. So if you go on the Department of Education's website, they have a list of the current ESCs in the state. There's about 13 of them. Out of those 13, 6 of them have their PDF file of the interlocal agreement. And the last section of all of those, every one of those interlocal agreements is the legislative body voting. So that is to me, that means like it's part of the process.
Okay.
did Drummond Woodsum ever talk to you about when you get that far? What
Right.
that would look like?
Yeah, I apologize. I assumed that was part of the process, so. Yeah,
You assumed what was the.
that there would be we could
a
move
vote
forward,
at
yeah,
town meeting.
yeah. Did you not?
We
But
need to verify.
Yeah, but so did you see those other ESCs that didn't have, did they all have
So only 6 of them had them.
only 6
posted.
of them had posted?
Those 6, it's the last section, it's it's called the approval, condition of approval.
Right,
And it was always the second paragraph, and it says by the approval by the legislative body, and then
Okay.
it goes on to say something about town meeting form of government, yada, yada, yada.
yeah, the only thing that I saw that my understanding that that circumvented the legislative body was the leaving the AOS. That was my understanding, that the school committee could leave the AOS without it, but
Requires the vote
right,
of the legislative body, and this doesn't.
right,
Right.
So, you know, I think these questions will probably come up, and
Yeah.
it would be really helpful if we were all on the same page. So that when our constituents ask us questions,
Right.
that we'll know what we're talking about.
right.
So just to clarify what your question is, you would like to know whether.
When town meeting gets involved.
Yeah.
Right, but whether or not not withdrawing from the AOS, but whether or not the formation of an
Of the
ESC
ESC.
requires,
Yes,
okay,
Yeah,
specifically the interlocal agreement.
right.
okay.
That's
Right,
the
it's the
exact.
interlocal agreement that is the key component of that question, because that was the same question I had. So assuming this ESC is formed, so we would no longer participate in AOS 93.
Correct.
All right, so where would, I mean, from a standpoint of personnel, I assume if you form a new organization, how do you, it seems like you would have to go out and advertise positions and say these positions are, we've created this new organization and, we're advertising, we're looking for an executive director, we're looking for all these people. It seems like that has to be part of the process. And again, where it's a totally new organization, it doesn't seem like, because I know you've talked about, you have the talent in place.
Yeah.
You know, where's the talent coming from? Are we pulling it away from the AOS, or is it, is it people that already work for Bristol School and South Bristol School that would be doing these functions? Or that confuses me a little bit about how that would work with personnel, just because it feels like a new organization should go out and have, everybody should have an opportunity to apply for those jobs.
Mm-hmm.
And that's, like I said, that confuses me a little bit.
Right.
How that process would work. How do you staff this new organization? Yeah. So. But,
Which I know is something that is being considered, and I imagine,
yeah,
questions like this would be taken up by the working committee.
yeah,
Yeah, it's like I said, it is a little tricky area because we want to get this done by the timeline
Without rushing.
without rushing.
yeah,
I mean, we're all in agreement that we'd also like to, put it out
Mhm.
and advertise for these positions,
yeah,
but that might make things a lot slower and
It might,
might
yeah.
make things more costly.
yeah.
But,
that's what
but your point is well taken, is like, what are we stealing away from? And then.
Right, and again, how does that, again, that process
Right.
doesn't
Right,
feel right to me, but I mean, I feel like, and again, I'm not saying that you don't, there aren't people that are there willing to take on this job. But there may be other people in the community that are, that are as equally qualified to do the job.
Mhm.
I can't say that there are, but there may be, so how do we, you know, again, how do you create a new organization? And not have that open process of hiring, but, again, it's a question that we have, so. You know,
And point totally well taken,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I know, you know, I don't sit in on these meetings because I
no,
think it's a quorum issue.
Mhm.
There can only be two.
Yeah.
Two school committee members there,
Yeah.
from Bristol, but I can assure you that this is something that is being
okay,
seriously considered.
uh. So essentially, the ESC is gonna go out, there'll be a certain amount of staff, but as far as the superintendent services, would that be something that would be contracted by the ESC for superintendent services, or would that be this, that wouldn't be a staff member of the ESC?
That's a good
I
question.
think the model
Yeah.
that's has been looked at until now is being, excuse me, is being the most workable, which is not to say, you know, there couldn't be other workable ones, would be a role that would combine both curriculum development, which is a big job.
Yeah,
Um,
and is not really currently being done at the AOS level.
right, because it's an enormous job,
Yeah,
to be honest, it's just a huge job.
all right,
So a combination of that and the administrator.
yeah. All right, any other questions at this point? I know we got hands raising in the back, and I think I'll allow a few limited questions, as long as it's questions, and I know there's, you know, been a lot of discussion about this, but anybody else on the board have?
I don't know.
All right, we got a couple of people want to ask, go ahead. Bill.
Well, if rather than forming your own ESC, there are successful ESCs in the state right now. Why wouldn't you just join them? Sheepshead Valley is very successful. They provide all those services.
Mhm.
They're right handy, and at least find out what it would cost.
Mhm.
I mean. They're right down the road, they do
Mhm.
RSQ, and they
Mhm.
do Wiscasset, and they provide, I mean, services. Apparently. Our school board voted down not to use them in the past, or. That's what it says on their little thing.
What?
All of Darren Scott, all of these are AOS.
Oh, our AOS.
Well, it names the towns.
Oh, okay.
But, you know, that's just one thing, then you can just kind of, they know what they're doing.
Mhm.
We're not starting from scratch, they're a
Right.
successful ESC. I know it doesn't include South Bristol, but I don't care about South Bristol, and I would wait the money and the votes, because there's 60 of them and 200 of us.
Mhm.
They don't get an even say. I don't think.
All right, any other questions? Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I think a lot of it was covered by you all, but I guess one, like, in this presentation, there's a lot of vagueness about like. We've got 8 weeks to do all this stuff. To Christine's point, there's a what's next and town input, public input isn't on there. Like, like, there's budgets and modeling, like, who's doing that? How do we know that's like reliable? Like, for that budget that, you know, it's like that line item there, like, who came up with those numbers?
That was Pete, that was our current budget, or excuse me, our business director, no.
So the AOS is helping decide.
Yeah, I mean, it's not,
It seems,
Well, I mean, we're a member of the AOS.
Yeah.
So we're entitled to the services.
Yeah.
And so,
Fair enough, all right.
and they have, you know, the hands on all of the numbers as it is.
that's the one.
Just one more quick question.
Yeah, you mentioned like we were losing votes when we were in the AOS. You said when we go up against like Noblesboro and Jefferson, losing votes, like what kind of things are like, what do you
Oh.
consider losing? That we'll gain from?
yeah, I hate that we're doing, but, well, let's just use it. So I remember, and there have been various votes taken on various things, but just one example would be, when it came to the budget for the budget vote for the AOS last year. And you can watch the riveting video recording of this, but, there was serious disagreements about the type or the formula for compensation of the employees of the AOS, of the staff at the central office. And, South Bristol and Bristol, felt it should be one type of formula. And the other two schools felt that it shouldn't. It should basically be a flat sum across the board for everybody. And Bristol and South Bristol disagreed, but we lost the vote.
So if we want to get into detail on any of this stuff, like, you know, a lot of it's like, there'll be savings. But it doesn't say what the savings are, or how they came up, like, how. I haven't seen anything about where we can go. Have a public forum to ask questions. I watch the school board meetings for the, you know, I try to stay abreast of things. Every meeting, there's a line item that's like restructuring, and Emil says, nothing to report.
Correct.
For a year,
Yes.
and then it's like, we're doing it,
Mhm.
here's the plan.
Yeah.
And there was never a place to ask questions, so where can we go to ask a question?
So
That's not taking up the select.
Right.
you know, probably the most efficient, I mean, this is, please correct me if
Sure.
I'm wrong here. Would, the most efficient thing might be to send your questions to, both of the people who sit on the working group from the Bristol School, and then, you know, they can bring it into the discussion.
Are those like public with minutes, agendas?
There are kind of. It's not hard and fast agendas, I would say. There's someone taking minutes. I mean, they're public, yeah.
No, I don't think so.
I mean.
It's
Yeah,
just
yeah.
like,
I don't
it's
know.
like fine for me
Yeah.
to get answered, but personally, I just like, I mean, we've been through this before with the budget committee,
Yeah.
like erring on the side of transparency.
Mhm.
If I'm gonna bother asking a question, I feel like everyone should have
Right.
access to the
Mhm.
answer. It would be nice if there was a public forum to discuss this stuff.
All right, I think that's, we'll.
Have we taken up, I probably put more than 15
No,
minutes.
that's all right.
My
That's all right.
apologies.
That's fine. It's a good to, you know, opportunity to have a quick discussion
Yeah.
about it and get some more information on it. And I think we've gotten from a board standpoint, our key questions asked about, you know, the interlocal agreement and how, you know, and everything like that. And my thought, you know, and again, I wanted that, you know, to make sure I clearly understood that the ESC was, you know, I'll say more or less takes the place of the AOS, and we would no longer be a member of the AOS. And that was one of my key questions. And like I said, we'll see, you know, about the rest of it. The interlocal agreement, I think, is the key, our key concern.
Okay.
Is how
And
that,
how much ground the interlocal agreement cover?
right,
Will it cover the staffing positions and how those are built? You know, does it really get into the nitty gritty of how the ESC will function?
all right.
Gotcha.
I think, at this point, we have a public comment period here at the end, if anybody has any further questions, but I did want to open up to at least a few questions just tonight, and we have some other business to do.
Do you know when your next committee, reorganization committee meeting is?
Yeah, it's tomorrow.
Tomorrow night?
We just get that.
The 21st,
Yeah.
what time?
I believe it's 5:30.
5:30 at Bristol or something?
Yeah. I believe it's South Bristol. I'll ask. Sorry. We've been swapping schools. The last one we had was at Bristol.
That's the best way to, I'll just keep emailing you and
Yeah.
asking you for dates.
Thank you. It's not a problem.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank
for
you.
that, and we'll see how things go.
Absolutely.
All
Yeah.
right, thank you very much. Thank you for asking the questions, and again, we have a public comment period later in the meeting, and if you have any other questions you want us to pass along. We'll do it then, all right? So liquor license renewal for invented soul. A new process where I guess we just review it and.
Yeah. It throws the restaurant owners for a loop. They're always emailing, they're like, what's going on with my liquor license? And I'm like, go get an email.
We'll look at that, so I'll make a motion, but
No, I'm sure it's the same.
we need to make a motion to do.
I think some meetings you have and some meetings you haven't.
I say we should probably continue to make a motion.
Yeah, that's what I think.
I think so, because this process didn't change, just the way they process the accreditation changed.
And we can initial the bottom of it, or sign on the bottom or something on the front page, so you wanna make the motion on that?
I know where it's at.
I'll make a motion that we grant the liquor license for the intended soul for 2025-8/13.
Second.
Is there any other discussion on the liquor license renewal for the contented soul? If not, all those in favor? All right.
No particular.
No, you guys have one. It's just the request for proposal.
Oh,
I think you all have one.
okay, you get it. All right,
Might have one.
can't have your notice. All right. So RFP for climate resiliency study.
So I'm pretty sure I told you we got the grant for the climate resiliency, 75,000. Okay.
Yeah.
So this is the next step. So we received the grant, it's actually 80,000 because there was an extra 5 for administrative costs. Worked with, again, Laura Garziano from Lincoln County Regional Planning Commission. They put together the RFP and we put it out to the public. They have submitted it to the Maine Association of Planners listserv, and they'll put it in their newsletter. And I sent it to FB Environmental because we've worked with them, the Shellfish Committee has worked with them on all the water testing, so. And this will basically be for assessing vulnerabilities and planning for climate resiliency in Bristol, so that's.
All right.
Yeah,
Yeah, great, let's do it.
Yeah, I mean, they'll come around and they'll do an assessment of the working waterfront, and I'm gonna try and steer them to all of our many landings that we have.
Yeah,
And yeah, so that will be due on September 17th. And you all will be the ones who decide.
all right. Very good. All right, abatement supplement.
So your abatement supplement is, we missed a lot split. So basically, the abatement is subtracting the cost of 1.12 acre, and the supplement is billing that 1.12 acre out to the owner, to the new owner, or to the old owner of the parcel. So that's the supplement.
Right.
And then that's your abatement.
I'll make a motion that we grant the abatement for 2025-11. Map lot number 009039F for the amount of $91.20.
Second.
Any other discussion on this abatement? If not, all those in favor? All right.
So you don't have to vote on the supplement, but Maine Revenue likes you all to sign it or
Okay.
initial it or something. I like to see
Okay.
that it's been gone through, it went through the select. Well, yes, that's for sure.
And communications from.
Yeah, so you all should have a copy of this letter. So Shelley and Clyde wanted to make sure that you had it, and they probably will come speak with you at another meeting. But basically, the gist of it is the lighthouse is turning 200 years old in 2027.
Mhm.
And the Friends of the Pemaquid Point Lighthouse are, right now, they're saying that they're going to do work on the lighthouse that summer. And they plan on doing it like in July.
Mhm.
So I don't know. So they have a new guy in charge, the Friends do, so I'm hoping he just hasn't realized or picked up the flow of the summer people and maybe realized that that might not be the best time to do that kind of work.
Yeah,
And I think the Parks Department, would like to see the town own the tower. They are always willing to pursue that.
I think probably the majority of the town,
Yeah.
I guess, I would like to see that happen someday.
So I suggested to Shelley that she reach out to Alf rather than deal with the Friends because I think that, I don't think the relationship is the best.
No,
So I suggested that she reach out to Alf and maybe see Alf could maybe talk with the Friends of Pemaquid Point Light and
yeah,
try to organize the work in some other time.
yeah. All right, cool.
So you'll probably see it again.
Yeah,
Okay.
all right. Very good. So town office report.
I don't have a lot. Hey, we got all of our money back from FEMA. I got a check for $356,000. So that's good. It's over. You got, this is an estimate for the shouldering from Hanley's.
Okay,
Should have mentioned it to Seth, but I didn't think of it.
okay.
We've had some road requests. The fire department is wondering if we can remove some ledge out on Long Cove Point, because it's a danger of popping their wheel going around the first corner.
Yeah.
So permission to add it to the project list and find somebody to do it.
No,
Okay. Our neighbor, Mr. Brackett, is checking in on us to see about the crosswalks in Bristol Mills from when we had that conversation last fall.
Mhm. Yeah.
He was wanting to know if we made any progress. I'm like, no.
no, we haven't, but we should, I don't know what, I
I
guess.
don't know where to put one. That's just,
Yeah, it's hard to tell where the best place to locate one. We'd have to look at it again and see.
I'm gonna ask him what he thinks one should be.
Yeah,
Okay.
and they're probably gonna have to wait.
I have an unpopular opinion about what we should do. I still think we need speed bumps.
Oh, in Bristol Mills,
Yeah,
like seasonal ones or, yeah,
maybe,
If they haven't talked to them.
yeah.
oh, yeah.
So I had on this estimate, I had asked about, getting estimates, because we didn't get it included in the paving bid, like we did last year, but an estimate for shouldering, and hoping to get one from at least from Hager, just have a comparison.
Yeah.
I think putting it out to bid would probably take too long, and the paving needs to have a little longer time to set up anyways before we run too many trucks over it. But we'll hold on to that, I think, and see if we get a comparison from Hager, and then we can talk about whether we want to actually go to bid or whether we want to, at least have a comparison to make a decision on. All right,
All right, wait a minute, I got one more.
one more.
Yeah, so we've got a boatyard that is on this side of the bridge and they're concerned about their fall business, taking the boats out of Brown Pond.
Mhm.
And they called up and they wanted to know if they could cut back trees on Route 32 and Foster Road. So I explained to them state versus town roads. I told them that it was probably unlikely that we were going to allow them to cut back trees on Foster Road. And I mentioned that they probably shouldn't be cutting back trees without CMP being involved.
Yeah,
That's because of their business?
Yeah. so
I'd say no.
So, well,
No,
I
no,
did
because you set a precedence and one person, and no.
I understand it though.
if
Yeah,
there,
they
if
do.
there are trees that they're concerned about, they should identify them for us and we can maybe make arrangements to remove them, but,
Not for them to be doing, no.
no, we definitely don't,
Yeah, I didn't give them a hard no, but I was like, it's.
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, I'm not saying we won't, because the town closed the road. Yeah, I don't have any objection to doing it, but I don't want a private company going out and clearing trees
Mm-mm.
on town roads, and the state's gonna have to do 32 anyways.
CMP and Esplund have been making the rounds lately,
Yeah.
knocking on people's doors about trees, so.
Yeah,
I would just as soon have them handle.
yeah,
trees.
They are aware that they can go down north on 32 and go down Bisbee and come in that way.
yeah.
Yeah,
They're aware of that.
I know they're trying to
it's
short.
gonna cost the boat owner a bit more, but
There you go.
it might be what they need to do.
If they have a reasonable plan on the Foster Road, we could look at it and see, but we definitely don't want them moving forward with that.
That's it.
All right. So we have building permits next. Divide these up by these early on. I got it. So. The exciting part of the select board meeting, right? Give you those reconciliations to start on those. Got somebody has a question.
Well, you probably have 3 people for public comment, which would be Ben, Mrs. Rutherford, and me.
Okay,
That is not related to this.
okay. A lot of bills this week.
We have the ambulance bill this week.
Yeah, I saw that. That's a ouch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would say we probably collected about 35% of our taxes so far.
35%, yeah, not bad. All right. It's the last one for the transfer station. So I'll open up public comment. I guess we have several people interested in making a comment.
I'll be short, so.
Okay. Go ahead.
I was gonna come in and make a comment about the shelter committee been discussing a conservation of the schoolhouse code. But they took it off their agenda and then, so it doesn't look like they're voting on it. So I just didn't want to tell you that I was coming in, you did not show up. But I thought that the stipends were gonna be, the committee member stipends were gonna be on the agenda tonight.
You know, we're gonna wait, we're gonna have the Shellfish Committee meet
Yeah.
on the 8th, and then you'll come back on the 17th.
Okay, and then I could ask for that, you put on that, meeting after that.
For the 17th,
Well, yeah, and also like the board, the shellfish committee is also gonna be discussing.
they'll be discussing it at their meeting.
Yeah, and
then
then the
they'll-
selectmen are supposed to hear what they recommend.
They're gonna bring their recommendations.
So I'll be. I bet you're gonna discuss that. The stipends overlapping your conservation time, are you required to do, for attending meetings? They're requiring their conservation time by attending on 1/2 of the meetings for the year. But I guess. So, I think that we could discuss that.
Yeah, why don't, we'll roll it into the September 17th.
Yeah, that'd be great.
You don't have to get on the agenda per se,
Okay.
because it will already be on the agenda to show up and you will be a part of that.
Okay, great.
That agenda item.
Thank you. Yeah, who, I guess, other,
Jennifer Rutherford.
Jennifer?
Concerned about the speed on State Route 32 in Round Pond.
Mm-hmm.
There's quite a large portion of the road that doesn't have adequate signage. There's no speed posted. And I spoke to the Department of Transportation for the state and they said I needed to address that with the town.
Yeah, the question was brought up to me. I think I was talking with Rachel the other day and I did go through, because you know, when you drive it every day, you don't even think about, you know where the speed limits are. I noticed that going into, from New Harbor into Round Pond seems to be the normal, go from 40 to 30 to 35 to 25 and then back up to 45 outside the village. Coming the other way, the signs are all gone. I noticed the signpost is across the road from a 25-mile-per-hour northbound sign. There's a post. No, this is by the post office.
Oh, okay.
The signpost is there, but there's no speed limit sign on there. But you're correct that you pretty much coming south on 32, there's not much guidance on speed limits there coming that way. The other direction, I think it's pretty well covered. There might need to be another one as you come off of the upper Round Pond Road going north, just to remind people that it's a 25-mile-an-hour speed.
Yeah, I
But
think also, going, if you come off of, up around pond going south down into Lake.
yeah, there's absolutely from the boatyard storage coming south, I don't think there's anything until you get down to the Foster Road, past the Foster Road, if I remember.
I went, I drove from
I
the
checked
tennis
it.
court to the Elliotville Road.
There's not a speed limit sign going that direction.
In particular, honestly, because I live there, is that as you're coming south, once you take up around pond. and
Yeah.
you go, past the post office and Chamberlain House. Which you probably know, there's a turn and the road dips down.
Yeah,
And there are 5 driveways all grouped together right there.
yeah,
Very limited site, and there was a pet that was killed
Mhm.
by a car recently.
yeah.
Which, that can happen anywhere.
Yeah.
But I think if there could be adequate signage, it might make a difference.
Yeah, we'll, like I say, I verified it when after I talked to Rachel the other day, and it definitely is, and again, it's one of those things that I drive it, and because I'm cut off from work on the lower ramp, so I drive up Route 32 and so I was like, oh yeah, there aren't any speed limit signs going south at all. And there's probably a few missing going north too, so we'll see if we can contact DOT.
Yeah, so is it 25 between the welcome to the village of Round Pond signs and then 35
Yeah.
outside of those
I
signs?
think it's 35 until you get to the post office, and then
Then it's
then it's
25.
25 all the way through the village, and when you go across the Monroe Bridge, it turns to 45 going up the hill out of the village. And there should be matching signs going in both directions so that it's clear what the speed limit is in both directions, and I don't think there's a sign as you come off the upper Round Pond Road either direction that reminds you of what the speed limit should be. So there's definitely missing signage. And maybe we can talk to them about having a hidden driveway sign or something like that as well. But
So check back with me, I'll email DOT, and the best bet is if you just maybe give me a week or two and then check back.
yeah. I wouldn't expect them to jump right on it, but they will eventually respond. They're usually pretty good at eventually addressing the issue. So thank you for bringing that to our attention. Ken, you have a question?
Well, I didn't have actually, I didn't get on the agenda or anything, but I was just thinking about. And I was just came to the meeting just to see what's going on, but I did have. As a constituent, as the residents, if we had a desire to get in touch with one of you all outside of the meeting, is that possible? How does that happen? I just have never, is the only venue to reach you and talk to you is at these meetings, or are there other ways?
I mean, it's I don't know about Paul and Christine. I have
My phone number is 677-3737. I have an answering machine. If you have a concern, call, leave a message, and I'll get back to you.
but
I'm not good with email. I have a cell phone. I don't like emailing business, but subjects and concerns, email, I'm not good with it. You give me a telephone, I'll get back to you, okay? Emails, I have a problem with. Because there's been a lot of havoc in the past of people using it, okay?
Yeah.
So that's how you can get a hold of me. You write that down, 677-3737. All right, leave a message, I'll call you back. I won't email you.
Yeah, I don't know if I've talked to you in the past on the phone, Ken, or not, but like I said, I don't have any issues.
I mean, I can say is the person, people would call here and they'll ask me, and I usually will give out the numbers, because I can kind of get a sense of what the person wants or something.
Yeah.
If I think it's a scam artist or somebody trying to sell them something, I tell them to buzz off.
I kind of thought our emails were on the website anyway, maybe
Not
not.
any personal ones, no.
Oh, they're not.
No.
For me, it's email. Because of my work schedule,
Yeah.
it's just easier to
Yeah.
shoot me an email and. get back to you.
What are you,
Yeah.
53?
Mhm.
What do you wanna be? What do you like best?
What do I like best?
Yeah.
I like email as well, but I still have not been able to get my town email to work again, so,
Give it a new phone number.
yeah. And, but yeah, I'll be glad, like I say, if I'm working, I
Unfortunately, have all
can't,
that information in my head.
yeah. Yeah. Like I say, I'll be glad to talk to you on the phone if I'm at work. A lot of times I'm either somewhere where, so it's best to leave me a voicemail. That's the best way, because I can't always answer my phone especially if I'm at work, so,
Yeah, I can't either.
yeah.
No, I understand.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All
The
right,
main law requires that our contact information be public
Does it?
as elected officials.
Yeah.
Mhm.
like I
Not
said,
appointed officials, but elected.
I'm gonna try to get my town email working again. It worked for a while and then it quit, and then it won't. Yeah,
You should all have town email.
yeah,
Well, I do.
No, like a bristolmaine.org address,
Oh,
like we.
well,
have
my,
a lot
the
of this.
one I get from you's not town?
The one you get from me is a town one.
Oh,
Yours is-
okay.
All right. Correspondence?
You do have a little bit,
Is
you,
that a question?
Oh, yeah,
You brought up the voting on the interlocal agreement.
yeah.
If, I mean, obviously you gotta wait to hear back about what the statute says, but is that like the only statutory like, I'm not against this
No.
necessarily, to be honest, like, I don't want it to come across that way, but it does, like, just reading through the what's next part, there was no mention anywhere.
No, and I think Christine, I think you mentioned about the ESC statute is kind of silent on.
Yeah, it doesn't talk about.
Which to me, if that's silent on interlocal agreements, then it should fall back on the statute on interlocal agreements. And that, you know, to me, I mean, it's. And I was glad that Rachel found at least 6 other instances where they did have a legislative body voting on the interlocal agreement. I know it makes that, I'll say, it makes that timeline impossible if we have to have town meeting vote. I don't know how you formulate all this stuff and.
Yeah, it just seems like rushed and.
Yeah.
The other concern, like, you know, I've been on the budget committee a while, I've heard a lot of promises from Peter Nielsen about. Where we're gonna find savings,
Mhm.
to not find those
Yeah.
savings.
Yeah.
It'd be nice to have some like concrete. Plans, but
Yeah,
again, it's this weird thing where they just. Exist in their own.
yeah,
Like, I feel like I'm like bothering you about this, it's like.
no,
It's a
no,
school,
I think
they
we
want-
got. The big question was the interlocal agreement and how that comes about.
That's the key.
Yeah, that's, yeah,
And there is detailed, I wanna see detail.
right.
I wanna see.
One for like the ambulance.
Yeah, we had one for the ambulance service, for the transfer station.
The
Yeah,
ambulance one, though, we don't vote on that, do we?
yeah,
Like, we send a representative to vote.
we send representatives, but the interlocal agreement was voted on at town meeting.
Okay.
Yeah. Yes,
The other thing that is the withdrawal line, that is very specific. The withdrawal plan has to eventually be approved by the voters. The way the commissioner, DOE has to do it, they can go forward, approved by the school board. They will approve it, but it's still subject to approval by the voters later on. It's like getting ahead of themselves.
yeah,
And, you know, the whole issue is the cost share for farming.
Right.
And that's all determined in the local agreement. If you look at, in the local agreement, if you look at the requirements, they're really tiny. They
Yeah.
are what you want them to be.
right,
It's an agreement between the parties involved.
yeah, it's the same issue we run into with the ambulance service,
Yeah.
you know, everybody. You know, you get a little different makeup of the representatives and they'll say, well, why am I paying this much and you're paying that much and. And that's, you know. It makes it complicated when it doesn't need to be, but.
That really drives me crossways, is the reason being pushed by Kristen over there at South Bristol. Last December. When the AOS voted on the cost share formula for their budget, it's now in effect. It was passed unanimously. He voted in favor of this crazy formula, June voted in favor, and so did the other two.
Yeah.
Now it's voters remorse, I don't know why, you listen to his thoughts.
Yeah.
His thought, he's all upset, they're all upset about that.
Yeah.
Okay, but the capital part is with the interlocal agreement is. It's hard to change it. I mean, this formula is a simple thing they can do. The board of directors can make that change.
Yeah.
But to change the voting. Power, authority, and voting weights and all that stuff, you know, they can do it, but if they do it, they amend it, has to go back to the voters.
Yeah.
But it's hard to get them all to agree.
Yeah,
So the real answer is to get it right the first time.
yeah,
And
Yeah, well-
going ahead with the ESC, the opportunity there to have, you know, a better. Local agreement.
Yeah.
No.
I go back, I'm a radio fan, yes.
Yeah.
Trust, that's verified. Whole verification.
Yeah.
You understand? I've got, I think, across the board, you were at board meetings, they don't want you to talk, they don't want to talk.
No, I know, it. and like I say, I didn't want it to go too far this evening, just because this is the first opportunity that we've had.
That's why I didn't say.
Yeah, and I don't wanna stop anybody from talking about it, but I think we got a couple of the fundamental questions asked, and hopefully we'll get a reasonable response. And
It's hard though, when they like, they said 2 community members, but
Yeah.
they like. And then I don't know those people, maybe they're great, but there was no
no,
opportunity to join, and then. The meeting's tomorrow, it wasn't advertised, like they didn't even know where it was, like,
Yeah, that piece concerns me
you wanna
too.
be involved.
yeah,
And again, not necessarily to say no, but like, to just find out what's going on, and
If they don't want to, then.
it's really hard, you
yeah,
know?
and
We're trying, and you can't do it.
it would help them if they would let people know, and they, so at this point, like I said, I'm just happy that we get some of the couple of the fundamental questions asked, and we'll see where it goes from here, and we'll keep on it, and
I don't think the school board are on the same page. When Karen was talking about the reconstruction, that was 12 people,
Mhm.
Chris was that's why he wants to fast track it.
Yeah.
He doesn't wanna go, your question, to why we don't go competitively and statewide and MMA, various services that you use, to get the senior positions like the superintendent. Okay, the sped director, those are senior positions. You
Yeah.
Go hire a clerk, that's down quite a bit. Which by the way, you notice that proposal. You got a financial clerk, you got no business manager.
yeah.
I'll stop the rumors going. That's obvious to me, that the executive director wants to be there looking at Peter.
Yeah,
You do
I won't speculate, I could guess that may be the case, but like I say, and that was why I brought up the question, because I feel like if you create a new organization,
Mhm.
you have to give a reasonable opportunity for people to apply. for
That's very
it.
clear in the statute.
Yeah.
When once you get into local agreement, it's kinda hard to get it out.
Yeah, yeah, one more.
The school, it's a town building, right?
Yeah, the town owns all the buildings.
Is there any, like, I don't know, concern's the right word, but like, they said that. We just did this big like addition and renovation and
Yeah.
it's all about like, we need more space for the students and whatnot. And now they're like, oh, we can make them office space for the ESC staff, and it's like.
Yeah, that was news to me.
Yeah, that's the first time I've heard that,
You missed it at the school board meeting.
did he, yeah, I unfortunately wasn't able to go, but.
That's right.
Yeah, so, yeah, there's, I think we all have more questions but. We'll see if,
It's a great deal for South Bristol.
It sure seems like.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, sweet deal.
where do we go for? I was not going from the budget committee. And,
Yeah.
What, the money people, not trying, it's August. I sit in a lot of the school board meetings just to hear what's going on.
Mhm.
And it's all I had to hold the top. As soon as you open it, they're on you, they're on you, they wave this Woodson, Drummond and Woodson book they have of how the laws of the school committee.
Mhm.
If you listen to the meeting last week, I asked them, they said there were no public votes.
Yeah,
And that coming from that, that's what they're being fed, I always feel that Peter and Woodson, I don't know.
yeah,
we had one person saying that the restructure committee meetings are not public, and the other one saying they are, so which is it?
Yeah,
Um,
so all we do is just
Yeah.
keep out,
yeah,
keep out. I thought it was a lovely presentation.
All right,
all right. Is there any other public comment at this point? One more?
Just something quick. I realize the traffic increase on Upper Round Pond is just temporary.
Yep.
It's barely wide enough now to fit two vehicles going.
Yeah.
Any chance of that being put on the list to be wider? I don't know if this is the right forum for that or not, but
probably not, just
No.
because when the construction is over, it's likely that, you know, everybody's gonna start using the lower Round Pond Road again, and the upper Round Pond Road will be kind of a backwater again, maybe. No.
goes down again.
It's, we have, I mean, we have so many miles of town roads and, we, you know, we try to, you know, we're trying to make improvements to all the roads over time. But that, it will be a long time, I'll say, before Upper Round Pond gets widened significantly. Just because of the other, you know, we've got a $1.16 million bridge being built now. We have a historic bridge that the town is gonna have to make a decision on whether they want to keep it historic. Or do we say goodbye to history? And that's a tough, that's a.
Resiliency grant money. It's good flooding.
I could add it in, I could have them look at it.
Yeah, they could comment, but, you know, that's, so there's a lot of plates, you know, we have an annual, you know, paving maintenance, we have some unpaved roads that we'd like to, you know, eventually pave, so, you know, it's, you know, there's a long list of road projects, but when this bridge is finished, we'll be looking hard and fast at the Stone Arch Bridge on the Benner Road and see, you know, and I think ultimately, you know, we may have to bring it to a town meeting vote to say, how do you want to proceed with this? Do we want to keep the Stone Arch Bridge as part, and it is a very historic bridge potentially. It may be the only bank-to-bank stone arch, dry laid stone arch bridge in existence in the state of Maine. If that's of importance to people, you know, gotta understand the cost of that. So, yeah, I understand that, and I know it's, I've driven the Upper Round Pond Road enough to know that it's been getting more traffic than it should. It wasn't the intent for that to be a detour, but it's human nature to take the shortest distance between.
And I
two
think
lines.
that's the way the GPS sends them to, is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, because the official detour, and not that the Foster Road is that much better, but it is wider.
Yeah,
Not any straighter, but it is wider, so. So that, yeah, it, you know, it's always something we're looking at, but again, it's widening the Upper Round Pond roads a long ways out in the future, I'm afraid.
Okay. I just
Yeah.
thought I'd-
Yeah. All right, if there's nothing else, I'll just announce the upcoming meetings. The Harbor Committee meets Thursday, August 28th at 4 P.M. here at the town office. Parks Commission meets Tuesday, September 2nd at 5:30 P.M. at the Ellingwood Center. The next Select Board meeting is Wednesday, September 3rd at 6:30 P.M. here at the town office. Planning Board meets Thursday, September 4th at 6:30 P.M. here at the town office. And the Shellfish Committee meets Monday, September 8th at 6:30 P.M. here at the town office.
And I forgot to add the one next week at the tennis court.
That's right, the tennis court meeting,
6:30, 6:30.
6:30 on Wednesday, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I understand, and one more. That's me, right?
And
Oh.
one more.
When I get my email, it said select board and one more.
Oh, let's just say that.
Yeah.
I assume that's me, but
All right,
not usually my name.
all right, so we got that. If there's nothing else, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So move.
We are adjourned. Thank you very much, everyone.
I put some sleep.
Mhm.